Well, apparently people want chaos. How about this then? Tiny Arena, two of the most aggressive players we've been seeing in KPMM. One and all, welcome back to the Midweek Muster. It's week number 8, and I need to update that. We've got Kiljadi versus Numidan just happening before this, and it's going to be now Kiljadi versus Cat. Apologies, I will update that between Game 1 and Game 2. Byzantines versus Chinese to open this up is a fun one, actually. We've been seeing Byzantine starting to appear here. The Cataphract build's been looking pretty effective against these civs that try for the Sacred Site. And while the Chinese definitely one of those civs historically that goes to that win condition. Yeah, very interesting opening. We didn't get Rus for once. Woohoo! It did get banned on both sides, actually, guys. So Rus was banned out. Zhuji was banned out on both sides, which is quite interesting. There were a few variables here, like Delhi could have came out for Cat, for example, instead of Byzantines. Meanwhile, for Kiljadi, I think HRE is quite surprisingly effective on this map. But I think you wanted to keep HRE as a flexi because it has a lot of places it can work. A player nickname TBD would be better. Oh, dude, don't get me started. Like, what? I can't remember what game it is. There's a game that has a player called Player. I love those types of names. They're so goofy. I think there was a Dota player that literally had a hero's name. It's like, oh no. But yes, we don't have any of that here. Not until we add... wait, actually, I just realized Cat should have became an Age of Myth player and just been an Egypt main, right? Just have Sphinxes by Cat. Instead, we get Grand Wineries by Kitty Cat. Meanwhile, Kiljadi should just be an Imperial Academy. I think gone are the days of just rushing the Barbican in the center. It's just not a valuable game win condition anymore. The reason for that, by the way, is that Trebs are better. Trebs don't suck anymore. Are we happy about that, chat? Trebuchets are finally worth building, Pog. Because you guys remember how this map was, right? People would walk over here, build a keep, build siege. Wow, engaging gameplay. Now, admittedly, they still build siege, they build Trebs, but they use it to clear the infrastructure and go in, which I actually like. That's why we brought it back. That's why I assessed, looked, and went, actually, it's time to revisit King of the Hill. If it wasn't for the siege changes that they made, I wouldn't even entertain this map for a second. So big shout out to the devs for doing that. Hopefully we get some follow-up patches soon. I know a lot of people are eager to see certain things getting tweaked, nerfed, and buffed. Racks opening from the Byzantines, though. Kind of surprising. Then again, we have been seeing a lot of Pro Scout shenanigans, so it might be a blocker player there. In fact, I wondered if he was going to try Hippodrome just for the Pro Scouts. We have seen that a little bit. But just Grand Winery feels a lot better against China. Western Contract is just the bread and butter of how you counter Chinese, right? Because you go into the Lombos, you pressure early, then your opponent ages up, and then they usually historically would mass spears, right? Which is terrible against Lance Nectar. Can we get a pro player called the Byzantine player? I'm trying to think which one's more realistic. Maybe like, oh, you know what? Actually, like a player called Abba would be very realistic, you know? That could work. Or just get a player called I Am English. So I'm trying to think like who is really favored at the moment in this matchup. Because I said how it should work. Historically, it is just Chinese try to blob spears and Nesta Bees and they lose because Lombo Lansk is so good. And Varangian follow-up craps them. But now Nesta Bees are less sought after. Right? Like we don't actually see people rushing Nesta Bees like we used to. So with that in mind, maybe Kiljadi goes for like an aggressive feudal play. I haven't seen many Chinese players trying to play out feudal against Byzantines. For good reason. The early longbow timing kind of starves you off from and stops you from getting Zhug, right? Like, if this was Zhuji versus Byzantines, I think you can get away with a mass Zhug build. Ironically, we saw Kiljadi versus Numidan for that earlier. But in this matchup, China has to wait so much longer to get repeater crossbows. So the more likely play here is going to be Fast Castle. Outpost coming up, but that's not deep enough. Yeah, if this is Western Contract, this outpost doesn't protect you. Namatane finding good value, man. Kiljadi even diving with a scout to potentially go a little bit deeper. So Kiljadi finally realized the mistake. Does start building the outpost safely in range. But Cat should now have that Merc house on the way. I don't like this. Kiljadi's going pro scouts. Very tricky predicament now, actually, I think. You know, something that I think is really underrated in these type of situations is a forward Merc house for a timing attack. Because if Cat actually had like a Merc house being built here because he walked the villager out on time and pumps longbows from here, your opponent's completely gold starved. Like he's just not going to get anything because you can just walk up here, block the secondary gold, right? Now, admittedly, Kiljadi would still have taxation. wouldn't be that impressive for a fast castle. Killjardy now getting extra outposts up. We do have the stone gathering, so hand cannon slits soon on the way. I just realized we never put predictions up. I'm going to rush predictions up. Apologies, guys. Cat versus Killjardy. I'm only going to give you 1 minute, though, so get your predictions in fast. I don't know, I'm a little bit surprised. Like, Killjardy obviously wants more scouts, but now this is where Pro Scouts feels really bad against Limitane opening. Like, it's very creative by Cat, right? Because now, like, you already have the spears to block him using that stables for anything. That also protects you on the next plane. A little bit surprised by this. It's not going to be archers. Instead, it goes javelins. Then again, I mean, I shouldn't be that surprised. We have talked in length about how if you go Limitane, you have to go javelin, and if you go horseman, you have to go longbow. It's all about providing counters to other things, right? But the longbows definitely would have been nice for shutting down the resources. Killjardy, has he got much back so far? I think, what, 1 deer maybe? Yeah, so that's the first deer being dropped off home. Spears are already blocking the north side. In fact, if Cat wants to get really creative here, he could push the deer further away. Kind of underrated play as well, right? It just guarantees that it's harder to get any of the deer home. Also means that if you just funnel the deer into one location, if the scout shows up, he can't pick anything up. Killjardy now with the archers. This is looking pretty bad for him right now. And we've got, what, level 2 Sistine, so your economy is buffed by 14%. You're almost mirroring what the Chinese are capable of. He's going to march north side. Now, admittedly, the javelin positioning... Where are they? Dude, they're so slow to arrive here. Limitane will have to walk away, so Archer's able to clear the way across on the deer. Is Cat losing track of his units? Or is this a ram timing? Because I'm a little bit confused over what the javelins are doing right now. I guess he's going after the economy, but as a result, you just gave your opponent his food. Yeah, a little bit perplexed by some of the choices made by Cat here. We do have a wall coming in, so that's going to be double berries. Actually, a really succulent spawn. Means that he could be delayed on wheelbarrow timing, which is only now coming through. I mean, I think Killjardy is like kind of edging back into this because Cat hasn't really leveraged his opening merc units that well. He's at double javelin count now, but Killjardy has been able to get access to the deer. In fact, yeah, he snatched away all but 3 of the north side ones, right? They'll be grabbing the rest next. So Killjardy even yoinks another one from down here. Guy who set his license plate to null to avoid tickets. Oh, Jesus. You guys ever thought that that's kind of like a weird thing when you chant NA for, like, say, like American esports is doing well? But then NA is also not applicable, which ironically is applicable to certain esports. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't know why I had to throw that shade. Jav's moving in for an Imperial Official Snipe. Not really that great. Remember, you can just replace them from the Academy. You want to get the villager kills. Quite able to find it. I mean, this is a pretty lofty dive. Archers are now arriving. Horseman count isn't looking that good, though. So the Javelins, remember, they are very tanky with the full ranged armor. They don't die that fast. Outpost is going to start getting repaired. Villagers being sacrificed, though. I mean, it's a very expensive army for Cat to lose, but in fairness, he gets a decent chunk of it away. Needs to be careful about the way he's aggroing there. A lot more Limitane being sacrificed. I don't think that was worth it for Cat, though. He gets 2 worker kills. The next step will make it worth it, though. It looks like he is going for the tech up. Yeah, I wondered if that had to be happening, because it felt like Cat was forcing matters too much. Little raid is going to be coming from Killjardy. Nicely played there, actually. The ramp needed to be walled. Limitane are now there to react. So Cat going for the fast castle. We should be looking at a cataphract build here. Vranging could make a lot of sense, but your opponent has a lot of archers already, right? Like, Cat is just able to gap close faster. Is he going Varangian? I actually think he's going Varangian here. Man, why do people hate the Sippy Cup build? I don't know. I think Sippy Cup build's good on this map. We've seen it a few times. Killjardy's comp is perfect for you to play cataphracts into. But Cat probably just wants the safety of numbers, which you get from Varangian, right? Like, you know, a cataphract, you can get 2.5 Varangian out for the price of cataphract, right? It's kind of ludicrous. So yeah, he's going to get the Rax pump going. The other thought I had about cataphracts here being really good is the fact that your opponent doesn't actually have walls. I would usually rate Varangian a lot higher if your opponent had walled himself in. But Killjody's been very greedy about this, right? I mean, I say greedy. He has had to build archers as a reaction. It looks like he's trying to play catch-up now. Now, remember, the Chinese are very quick at that build speed. So, although there's a window here, I don't think Cat's going to be able to exploit it in any meaningful way. Monarch of the High Ground, is that what we're calling it now? Is going to be Varangian versus Palace Guard soon. Yeah, and the thing I don't like about that for Cat is that he went Silk Road. So you get camels, right? That doesn't help you at all. Landsneck would have felt really nice. Lombos would also felt really nice here. I guess also the other problem is like you have to go Varangian. You can't go Cataphracts with Javs that well, right? Because spears can be countered by Lombos, but Javs don't. So I kind of see where he's coming from. I don't know, Silk Road is always just so polarizing to me because it's very powerful in the right game, but it's also very limiting. It feels like you lose a lot of options. So Horseman Raid coming in again. Killjody might be able to snipe a villager or two down. Nicely microed, he got both of them there. And lost the Horseman. Meanwhile, Imperial Palace down the way, I love this. I don't love the placement a crazy amount. Would have loved it a little bit further forward here. Because I'm pretty sure if you place the Imperial Palace here, you can see onto the Sacred Site. But this way, he's only going to see probably like towards, say about here, about the gold. Kind of surprising actually though, right? Like you'd expect Clock Tower here, considering how good this map is for funneling into the center. So Killjody definitely cooking. I mean, like, you will be able to see where your opponent's economy is, but realistically, you already know that info. Alright, guys. Ready for vision? Right now, this is me without gunners on. Wow! I put them on and see it. I'm sorry, I had to do it. Bloody strong landmark. So now these flank attacks can be seen early. That's really important for a guy who did not want to build intervals. Barbican now coming as well, so Song is going to be on the way. I don't think we're going to be seeing him rush 2 TC. You can't really afford to. More likely is going to be Palace Guard into a Monk switch to pick these relics. Relics that Cat is already on the way to. Oh yes, we'll be checking on Stopper's games later, by the way. He had a series against GUA, and then the winner of that goes up against Sassy. Whoop. Wow, I even said that in a sassy way. Long system coming in. I mean, you have to do it for the double whammy. It's going to go up to level 3. Could be very soon level 4, actually, with that amount of stone. I mean, Cat's position is still pretty good in this game. Killjody has a reasonable amount of food, but he didn't get a crazy amount, right? There's still a deer stat that's going to get blocked. Oh, okay, actually, no. Pardon that. He done fine. Killjody did actually snatch the deer away here. I just fought with the icon there. It was still untouched. So Killjody, in theory, should win the food spam war. The question then is the olive oil worth its weight? Lancers are coming, and ironically enough, I believe that is an RNG Golden Horn Tower Camel Rider spam on the way. Why not put the Imperial Palace in a more aggressive position? I think he was just paranoid about getting dove. Like, I talked about him doing it, right? So you'd be able to see in the high ground, like here, I think actually would have been. But I think he just freaked out about whether his opponent was coming. Breaking the walls and march in now. The Varangian being revealed. This is where you need to switch crossbows, but Killjody doesn't have any yet. Undermesh level 2 is also there, so the dives are going to be pretty impactful. Defenses won't scare them away easily. Villagers, for the time being, are at least dodging well. Killjody is starting to extend his economy lead. In the meantime, Cat has moved for the center, so immediately caps the Sacred Site. He's going to get traded out on the backside here, but this is mostly spears, and the spears are actually blocking the Palace Guard right now. The Varangian are lasting a lot longer. It means the Javelins actually buy enough time to mop up the backline of archers. I mean, at this stage, am I the only one looking at this wondering why not Clock Tower, right? Like, you built Siege in the end. Clock Tower makes so much sense on this map unless the Imperial Palace is in a really good position. I get why Killjody went Imperial Palace. Doesn't mean I have to like it, though. Oh my god, dude, Cat's going to go for the toxic build, isn't he? Yep. Oh, no. Well, this is going to be brutal. Because now you're going to have to dive in for a decap on a multi-mangonel sacred site. Maybe going for the Nestabes is the right call, but once again, like we mentioned, those knobs aren't insanely tanky. And Killjoy doesn't really want to be in a position where he has to go Trebs as well. Lancer does at least get in. Well played. Yeah, Cat was really late on wall on this, huh? So one Lancer able to shuffle in. Will at least get denied by the Camel Riders in the end. Find some worthwhile kills. Killjoy needs those as well. Okay, so Cat has some serious food issues right now. This idle time is adding up. Thank God he at least eventually got wheelbarrow. The relics are at least going to offset some of the problems here. In fact, this is probably a 4-relic game for Cat. Might even be 5, considering that Monk is a bit too ambitious. Yeah, and this is important. Cat now knows about it, so he can camp this area. Meantime, Nestabes trying to mop up the last of the Javs. So Cat, feeling like he's overextended, will try to back away from this, but a weird way to do so. Javs just running even deeper. I'm not sure what the hell happened there. I think Cat, that was a misrally. You can afford to lose the Varangian, you can't afford to lose the Javelins. Granary's coming in, so Killjoy prepping for what comes down the line here. I think Killjoy should have gone Clock Tower. Oh, I agree. I think he was just paranoid about timing, like I said. Hence why he done it to protect him, right? With the vision. But it definitely hasn't really paid off in the end. And yeah, Revelation on the double Mango Tower is going to leave Killjoy probably feeling a little bit tilted. This is not fun to play into. In fact, this is a new addition to the King of the Hill experience. Remember, we didn't really get, do I want to say treated? I guess I'm going to say treated. We didn't really get treated to Mangonel Tower spam on King of the Hill before, right? Because when it was last in the competitive meta, the Byzantines weren't even in the game. These are pretty toxic, though. It's siege damage, right? So the problem you're going to have is Nestabes is your only way to now blitz these. But your Nestabes have 130 health, and these do siege damage for reasons I can't explain. In fairness, if they'd done range damage, they'd be pretty pathetic. But this is quite unfortunate for Killjoy. He's going to need to go Trebs. And what is up? That is fortunate from Shakes. Appreciate you, mate. Thank you for the Prime sub. Remember, guys, got Prime subs. Do get them in. Someone was mentioning they had to deal with ads mid-fight. That's how you avoid them. Subscribing to the channel. Camel Riders. Yo, this could be a big raid. Nice strike there. Also, the idle time alone, worth it. But getting the worker kills, you'll happily take that. And also, once again, the timing on this, the Monk was coming out as the camels came in. And remember, these were all free. He didn't pay for them at all. So another Monk gets denied. Food gathering gets denied. Killjoy now being slowed in his tracks while the timer is approaching 50%. Ooh. And I don't like how this is looking for Killjoy. If Cat just adds in a few small walls, he can make this fight a living hell for the Chinese. So I've got some ball gatherings. So Cat definitely going to have enough food to keep pumping. Mass crossbows, the next target for him. And finally we have the walls from Killjoy. Feels like this was a long time in the works. I'm kind of shocked it took this long to come out. But it once again goes back to the Imperial Palace. The Imperial Palace is meant to make you feel safe, like you don't need these walls. The problem is when you build it so defensively, you don't get the vision that makes you feel that safe. You'll know when your opponent is diving your base, which usually is why this makes sense, right? As Pro Scouts in the Imperial Palace, they have to come in. So the Pro Scouts didn't get enough. Trebs get revealed early. Siege begins on the outpost. Remember, he can just repair these with wood. Does need to bring some villagers forward. A bit surprised by that from Cat. Usually you want to keep like 1 or 2 villagers on the front line. I guess his thought process here is he doesn't want to miss out on system gathering, and oh no. So that's how the Lancer got in. Another interesting thing, guys, camels do get bonus damage against siege. So even if there's no cavalry here, these are still pretty damn effective. Bloody hard to kill as well, 270 HP. Knobs are starting to move up. Mango shots coming out. Nestabes not able to get the kill in time. Cat really needs to pull villagers. This is pretty negligent what he's doing. Looks like Rangin have found their way into the back again, though. How does this keep happening, man? You really can see the difference in walls. Even stone walls coming out from Cat. And 3 minutes as well in that timer. Villagers are now here, so repair crews arrived. Probably more outposts to come up. I don't know, man. I think Kiljadi is as dead as a doorknob here. Never understood that saying. He's as down as Intel stock. I mean, this is looking bad. That's why you should buy the AMD CPUs. And a big reaction here. Sending 5 crossbows back to deal with this when you need to be pushing. Mango's now starting to stockpile up. 4 of them in total. That can get the insta-kills on the Nesta Bees. The outpost crawl from Kiljadi is real. He needs that vision. Treb's also getting forced away. I don't see a way, man. I think he's dead. I mean, we got one of those classic Sacred Site win conditions, but like I said, a very different map, right? It's not the Barbican drop it once was. And now the forced fight. You can't walk away anymore. Mangoes are going to start to splinter, but they should be taking the Nesta Bees with them. And the army is just simply too big. Kiljadi, he's coming in waves. This is an RTS, not Call of Duty Zombies. It doesn't work like that. Only 1 Nesta Bees left. I just don't see a breaking point here. A ring of the bell, 2 minutes away now. Crossbows, pretty much all that's left on both sides. Nesta Bees, pretty much dead, as well as all the Mangoes. Cat is going to go for the dive. She needs to get that final hit onto the knob. And now you can just back off. Oof. More outposts were being attempted. Looks like he actually stopped on that in the end, but I think he's put a stop to Kiljadi's push here. The problem for Kiljadi now is a lack of food. We're only getting the farms in, and he's got less than 2 minutes on the clock. Has at least got the berries being gathered over here, so that's going to give him some influx. But I just don't like the pass guard detail. I get why he's doing it. He kind of needs someone that can stand on the site for more than 2 seconds. The problem is it makes Cat's job even simpler. Just build more crossbows. Oh, wait, Kiljadi? I mean, Cat, that was an ambitious trade, but would have been worth it. The Mango is going to make it easier. Ring the bell here. Outpost getting low on HP. Mango apparently goes potato aim instead of going for the easy kill. Cat is just wasting villagers right now, but he wants to bait with the Mango. He needs to stop going for the Nesta Bees. The attack on the Nesta Bees might lose him the game. And the Trebs, they've almost got it. The outpost is about to go down. Pass guard are dead, though, and I mean, it was so close. I feel like for a moment there, Cat was throwing away the game with that Mango targeting. But there's no denying it now. Kitty Cat is going to open with a winning strat. Kiljadi, who's usually favored here. Cat, who can't really make it to semi-finals, is about to be on the verge because we're in the quarterfinals here. But it still takes 2 games. And this series still far from over. I think both players have some strong points in their draft. Abbassid's HRE is there for Kiljadi still. So over by no measurement yet. But a scary position for Kiljadi to find himself in. Especially considering the Cat has the Delhi still. See what he can do in game number 2. And people can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think there's only 2 cards on the market right now that have 24 gigs of VRAM. And that's the 4090, which is really expensive, or the 7900 XTX from AMD, which is like half the price. That's pretty crazy. Right? All right. Let's get ready for some craziness, though. We love this. I think Kiljadi might be one of my favorite players to watch play HRE because he plays them the way they're meant to. Bum rush everyone. Full German blitzkrieg strategies in on the feudal age. See if he tries that. Up against the Delhi in the hands of Cat here. We are in Tri-Arabia. This was really unexpected. I didn't really anticipate Tri-Arabia for map number 2. Given the drafts, I thought Kiljadi would go Borderland to try and thin his opponent's draft more, right? So, you know, to me, Kiljadi has like a tricky situation now with HRE not looming on Borderland. He did at least like dodge a Delhi issue on that map. I think Borderland is surprisingly good for Delhi due to how close the sacred sites are. So Kiljadi, if you play an all-in feudal, I think this can be kind of more of a 50-50-esque thing. Dome of Faith means that Cat will be more greedily oriented. And if Kiljadi chooses an all-in type approach, he could just collapse the Delhi before they get online. How are you guys predicting, by the way? Wait, did the predictions already end? I did pay out, right? Did I start any predictions? Let me know. My brain is like being weird now. I'm pretty sure I did. Maybe I'm being weird. Because I feel like this matchup, we're probably going to see what Cat get maybe 65% of the predictions because Delhi are just ridiculous right now. Dome of Faith versus Arkin coming in. Looking at the spawns, actually, double Ford Gold is a little bit problematic for Cat. Yeah, because if he tries to go Sacred Sites and gets blocked off that win condition, he doesn't have any gold gen because he can get them pressured on the Ford Veins. Berries as well. I mean, he has at least got these ones in the corner. They're a little bit weird to wall, but possible. Deer doesn't really matter as much because we'll just inherently see Pro Scouts coming for free. Killjardy on the other side has got those deer on the back that I'd love to see him shove in. It's pretty feasible to get them towards the Arkin location. And that would give him plenty of food pump to go for an all-in. Sheep haul is going to be really important here as well. And it looks like we have got 13 sheep. That's actually really good for Killjardy, especially considering that he was buffed on his gathering at the beginning of the game. So really, really solid haul, especially against a Civ that tends to get more sheep on average. Just thinking, actually, like, Cat versus Killjardy, have we had this matchup before in the weeklies? I don't think we have. I think this is the first time these two have clashed, possibly second. It's interesting because Cat has been going up against a lot of top players and proving that he's a very competent player. Like, you know, you really shouldn't sleep on this guy. The amount of times he's been taking one game off of some of the best players is phenomenal. Another interesting thing, actually, he thrives on water maps, believe it or not, guys. Yeah, Cat actually likes playing water maps. So this week is a little bit tilting for him because I'm pretty sure Lakeside is a water map, but it's not really, it's not like an archipelago, which I know Cat would have loved to have seen still in rotation. But my feeling was that people are a little bit tired of archipelago, hence why we dropped it. So Stable's opening coming in. Killjardy should be racking spears. So what you can do is do racks, double archery range, and go. Maybe as a catfish. Hey, there it is. Well, no, ironically, you'd think for a guy who's called Cat, he'd be scared of water, right? And there's the archery range follow-up. I don't know what Killjardy's afraid of. Old people's homes. It's probably incontinence. These are all mockeries of old people, guys. We still don't actually know Killjardy's age. If I had to guess... 38? 36 or 38? It's somewhere between 36 and 38, I think. My first instinct was 36, but then it's like... You know how you always get that instinct like, oh, it's going to be too low. He's younger than Beastie? He has that grumpy old man aspect. Okay, so yeah, I could believe 32. Yeah. But he has that very kind of like blunt old man aspect to him, which I love. I mean, guys, have you ever considered that Beastie's just older than you thought and you've been being catfished this whole time? What you guys don't see is when Beastie gets up from the camera and turns off the stream, he gets his walking stick out. See? We've been being bamboozled this whole time. Archer's coming in. So this is going to be a very aggressive blacksmith timing as well. It needs to be... Cat has already started prepping his undermesh on the way in 2 minutes. You need to have Steeled Arrow to appropriately counter. With double archery range, that means that you can go for Steeled Arrow for about a minute and 30 seconds from now when it's justified. Because your archer count will be high enough, right? Like, he's going to be able to, in that time, produce 12 archers. 12 archers is more than adequate to justify blacksmiths. Beastie's like the red woman from Game of Thrones. He has sex with leaders of other countries. Wait, oh no, you mean he doesn't age? That makes a lot more sense. Okay, there we go. Gazi count looking reasonable, but I'm a bit worried the spear count's already too scary for Cat. Yeah, I don't think you realize what takes off his young skin at night really sounds like. Just want you to process how that could maybe be misunderstood. Archers now come from Cat. But this isn't Tower Victory Archers, right? So like, as Killjardy just keeps bloat, he has advantage. Another awkward thing, actually, is like there is a window where you balance out your economy to be decent against the HREs with all these free techs. But Killjardy's now already mirroring. Culture is on the way. And looks like he got blocked moving out for the first Sacred Site. So great denial there for Kiljardi. Reinforcing wave is going to be caught slightly out of position, but he has got Spearman in the mix. And yeah, you notice straight away, Cat realizes he can't afford any Ghazi losses because of how good the HRE economy is. You said what you said? Yeah, you know what you said. Wait, Beastie Birth Shadow Assassins? See, that just like that just makes it sound like he does those silent farts that clears the room, you know? Man's enjoying his Serbian hamburgers a bit too much. Okay, now that sounds like something inappropriate. Anyway, because why would you even point out that they're Serbian? They're just hamburgers. Movement on the north side coming. He actually might be able to get the snipe on the Scholar. Yeah, Cat right now is not getting any gold gen. And numbers are a lie. Remember, 7, basically a third of his military on actual military units. Kiljardi now also adding in the men-at-arms. The frustration for the Archer mass, right? Just 1 or 2 to draw fire. Second wave is now arriving. Cat, he tried to get as much of that as he could before being forced to retreat. I don't like the look of this, though. The Archers could easily snipe out 2 Ghazi from this. Stealth Forest is going to save his bacon from getting cooked. But not for long. Moves in again. Archers get bailed on, so Cat has to sacrifice a decent chunk of his effective army. At least gets the premium away, but this is the annoyance against HRE that I quite like for them in this matchup, is when you get bait to coming out too early, they can punish you on the retreat. I actually think Cat would have been better served waiting. His attempts to snatch Sacred Sites did at least yield him 1 in the end, but definitely cost him some military force unnecessarily. Looks like this one won't go up on YouTube. How to put this. No, I'm not going to make the phallic joke. I was going to make a reference about someone going up. It will go up. There's no stopping it. Like a man who swallowed a blue pill, it's inevitable, sir. There we go. We still got the phallic comment in the end. So Kiljardi, what he can do really well here is just bait and switch. And I think that's what we're about to see. The Ghazi react on the north side to protect the Sacred Site. He can dive economy. Needs to be fast about this, though. Cat has kept the Archers in reserve. Demonetization Mondays. Yeah, that's why we need to turn this into Money Mondays. Where's my subs? And I'm not talking whips and chains. Open those wallets, folks. We're at the beginning of the KPMMs again, which means we're back to 110 hours of content a month. What up? Cat is fine for the moment. He has got the gathering on the backside. We also have got survival techniques. Pro Scouts isn't being leveraged at all. I should switcheroo soon. I'd love to see him just add in 2 more scouts so he has that safety at home. Because if Kiljardi sees an opening, if he gets that chance to extract kills on the food lines, right? Like, this will be over. Cat can also do similar, but the problem is that HQ is very good at not spreading their economy. They just keep it at home. We do have a weird play from Kiljardi in the end. He didn't go for the deer shove. I don't like this. I'm a bit shocked that we didn't just see 2 Spearmen to push this in. I think he could have afforded it, and it would have given him a 40% buff on this gathering. Sacred Sites are slowly slipping gold into the coffers for Cat. The men-at-arms are getting a bit worrisome to me. I mean, the Ghazi count is still good, though, right? Like, I actually think Kiljardi needs to probably lean back towards spears, or he's going to look for a tech play around 20 men-at-arms. Our Ghazi's the best unique unit. No! Atake Bunes! No, I'm kidding. Best unique unit in the game? Alright. Do you want my hot take? Scholars. Just think about that for a second. Didn't see that one coming, huh? You guys were all focused on things that kill things. I was focused on something that just wins the game by saving you tens of thousands of resources. Ghazi. Definitely are quite high up on the rankings, though. Kiljardi may be forced to commit the army. He needs to get more of them across here, though. He feels a little bit outnumbered. So he's trying to just peel the Ghazi away so he can get the stabs in, but the Spearman count isn't high. And Archer's damage barely registering at this stage. Good clash there. Snipes down 3. And now it's going to be A-click. He has to go in. Pulls the Spearman back. The men-at-arms lead the way. Scholars get left behind, and now we do have the line formation. This is the retreat we talked about. Each time the Cat has to do this, it costs him. Men-at-arms just a nuisance he didn't want to have to deal with. Ghazi are going to recommit, but the numbers not exactly impressing right now. Yeah, going in even deeper. Killjardy, is this actually enough men-at-arms to break the fight? It's looking pretty good. The Scholars get left behind. Spearmen are being peeled back, but the Ghazi count non-existent in this game. Killjardy, he has enough men-at-arms to win the fight now. 26 archers versus what? Probably about 15. Men-at-arms count is close to 10 though. Ghazi have been removed from the pitch entirely, and Cat now locking the food to mass blob again. Behind that, only one Sacred Site locked in. He did at least sneak this one to the south side. My worry now is we're reaching the economy. It's bad enough that Cat can't really posture against the men-at-arms. It's even worse if you have to retreat beyond the villages. That's exactly where we're heading here. Killjardy is going to go for the temp reset. Just wants to get that next line of men-at-arms in. Across the map, he does have a comparative archer count, but they're not here yet. Scouts is going to get denied. MAA going again. I just think Cat is fighting into his death here. Like, you feel like you need to come out of your base, but every time you do, you get punished for it. The cyclical nature of HRE, right? It's the marching drills that just allows them to punish with a unit that other civs couldn't. Right, if this was English, the men-at-arms would just feel terrible here. Tail end of the fight, we're looking at what? 21 archers to 25 in this fight. And still more now coming in from Killjardy. Yeah, I think Cat is just grinding himself to death at this stage. I mean, Scholar count is rebooming, right? Like, obviously he has the trickle of gold to afford them infinitely, right? Remember, he's paying only 65 gold every 30 seconds. Sacred Site is generating 125 gold a minute. So that is an infinitely scalable element of the game for him. What scares me is what Killjardy's doing now. We have farms coming. We have a stockpile. It's going to be Castle Age, and I'm not really sure what Cat is meant to do about that. And what's up, Firehick? Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate the raid. Firehick, did you sign up this week? I don't think you signed up this week, mate. We missed you. Hope you had some good games, buddy. Is this a tournament? Always and forever, mate. Welcome to Killer Pigeon's Midweek Muster. From now through to the end of June, every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, this is the place to catch tournament games. Interesting set we have here. Remember, Cat was able to get that decisive opening win, Byzantine versus Chinese. Killjardy looking like he's ready to firmly strike back, and strike back big. He finds the workers. Cat, quick on the fingers to react, but so difficult to get away. This is what makes Marching Drill Archers so damn good. You cannot get away from them. I mean, that should be GG. Killjardy's going to tech up behind this. Cat is now sitting almost 10 workers behind. Regnit's on the way. Second wave coming in just to strike from the other side. The berry gathering on the north side actually might get spotted. In fact, they're already converging towards this location. I mean, Cat, I'm trying to think back to what he could have done different. I think he just got baited into fights too soon. We talked about it, right? Like, he went for a Sacred Site Cat too soon. It's okay to try and punt a Scholar out there. It's not okay to throw your army behind it and get caught in a bad position. I think that really snowballed this. So what do you do now as Cat? He's going to need Ghazi to try and hold on here. It's not a bad idea. My worry is the food. Yeah, he has at least finally started pro-scouting, so that's going to buy some lifeline here. His army is definitely bigger. But notice the Killjardy, he bought the appropriate time. Veterancy for Men-at-Arms is in, 25 seconds for the Archers, but the MAA alone are good enough to carry this defense. Especially the health booster. Just so tanky at this stage. Archer's doing only 1 damage. So it takes 155 arrows to kill a Men-at-Arms. Bargain. The good news for Cat is in these choke points, it's half the MAA to leverage themselves fully. But Veterancy just kicked in, and I think that should be conclusive. Cat, he has to go for an age up now. His opponent's already counter-attacking. I don't think you get anything from this age up now. I mean, he has to look for it, right? There's no denying it's his only way out. Relic should now be being sought by Killjoy as well. Men-at-Arms count is already 20 plus. You'd think this guy had a Burger. If he didn't, he just played Feudal HRE. I'm always torn about the balance of HRE. You can say what you want about this Civ being strong, but at the same time, I respect when it's used for this. Aggro. And if there's any HRE player in Age of Empires 4 that would use this Civ for aggression, this is your guy. Sacred Sight's now trying to be recapped, but the decaps come in the center. At this point, it feels fairly conclusive. House of Learning's at least being built on the backside. However, just a screen across, there is bigger problems for Kitty Cat. But no problem here, because that means we're getting treated to a game number 3. Yeah, there's just no way you get the appropriate counters out in time. Like, the Archer mass is already too big. It's not even the Men-at-Arms, it's actually the Archers now. Because crossbows are going to get countered the moment they arrive. The Vet Archers are already trading better against the Archers on the other side of this. Killjoy does need to rally more troops in. They're a little bit slow to arrive. But at this stage, just go hunting villages, right? Build an even bigger eco lead. And that's exactly what he's doing. I respect your HRE. Kyle, we would have respected you deeply if you'd won that series. Sorry, buddy. You got to kill Lash. You can't just beat him once. We're going to find out who's going to beat who, because we are getting a deciding game between these two. Deciding game number 3 in the quarterfinals. Look at that. I actually bothered to update it mid-series. We've got Ayyubids versus Malians. A little bit surprising, actually, because final picks was either this or it would have been Abbasid for Killjoy, and then I believe it was French for Cat. I thought Abbasid would have worked well against either of those. Maybe Killjoy was a little bit paranoid about the French pick coming out. So Malians, I'm not crazy about. Ayyubid versus Malians can be good because you can't really leverage the Desert Raider play unless you want to get javelined in the face. But one thing I usually hate about Malians is on board land, you need RNG on your side. Otherwise, you get screwed on the gold straight away, and this could have been a potential game for that. Luckily for him, because it wasn't an outpost rushing Civ, things can work out quite nicely here for Cat. We've seen games between Malian and French that are over by 9 minutes, because the Malian player just gets outpost rushed. Same with Mongol picks, right? I'm a little bit surprised, actually, considering the way these two drafted, that Mongols didn't come out at all. I was calling for it multiple times in the draft. Funnily enough, if Killjoy had that in his arsenal instead of, say, an Abbasid pick, could be looking like a very easy, fun game. What is up, Liquid? Thank you very much, dude. You absolute legend. I believe who's complimented my casting earlier. This is a generic statement. I hope you're saying I'm doing a good job, and I hope that's an instillment of that. 5 subs for the community. Guys, if you do enjoy these, I always appreciate when the subs get dropped, like the wonderful Liquid here. It makes it possible to do this for a full-time living. Also, most importantly for you guys, it means you don't have to worry about ads, which I love, because I don't really have a choice. I have to run them. Killjoy is really hard for a new candidate on this pro tournament. Wait, you mean like... well, I don't... Are you saying Cat's a new candidate, or am I misreading that? Because Cat's not new. Like, Cat has played in multiple weeks. He actually does fairly well. He almost always makes at least round of 16. I think he's made some round of 8s. And Cat has also been responsible, kind of like a me Maiko effect of taking games off some of the top players. So definitely not a pushover player. I've been kind of waiting for Cat to make his breakthrough because I think he's on the verge. Very, very talented player, actually. Killjoy, of course, needs no introduction. He is truly on the verge, right? He's just, you know, we spend a lot of time talking about Louis, talking about Anatan, but the reality check is like Killjoy really is there with them as well. Like, he just has a very, I think, polarizing playstyle. Killjoy needs the right matchup, I'd say, more than like an Anno or Louis. Everyone has bad matchups, right, in terms of playstyle, but Killjoy is always a relentless aggressor. Occasionally, I think he is overly defensive, depending on the opponent. It's almost like he puts a bit too much respect on the name. But, you know, if you're like me and you watch this guy over the years on ladder, playing against people like Vortex and actually out-aggroing them, you know what he's capable of when he puts himself wholeheartedly into the fight. Cat, I know what he's capable of in the current meta, when he wholeheartedly puts himself into going for sheep and then going for deer. Because this is a pro scouts play. And he's going to need it, considering that Killjoy yoinked 20 sheep from the map. We did get the growth wing opening. I think this is going to be fast castle. Wait, no, is he pro scouting? No, it's 2 on gold. That would be really surprising. He's just countering the play from his opponent. I don't like this against Warrior Scouts. I think Horseman is a really bad trade into Pro Scouts, Warrior Scouts. If you really want to block the play, you have to go Infantry, which feels bad. I think Killjoy would have benefited a lot more just from teching. By the way, Cat is a very unhinged Malian player. You guys might recall him in the Cat versus Crackety game, where, for reasons that do not make sense to anyone who is sane, he decided to ram rush all in Feudal Age with Malians. He even Dark Age Spearman Rush to begin with. And look at that crazy, nutty man. Thank you very much, Marv. Appreciate that. 68 gifted subs in total so far. I say so far. I'm greedy. Thank you, mate. Appreciate you. Yeah, so I don't... Is Cat... I'm wondering, he's a guy who obviously scrims a lot with B. Is he a believer in the Farimba ways? That could be an interesting turn in this matchup. I just don't know if it's really worth it. Freeborn are okay, but like you're expecting Lancers, right? Mansa Musafadi would be pretty vile in this matchup. We'll have to see if we get to that point. We know that Killjoy likes to field some aggression in Feudal Age, and that's exactly what we're getting. This I like a lot more. Archers and Horsemen make sense. Means you block the Javelins, you also have a sufficient counter to the Warrior Scouts trying to min-max. Smart way to play it, right? Like, we've seen how many times just being a melee comp screws you over against healing. Whether it's the King, whether it's, you know, the peel back and heal with, like, you know, scholars from Delhi. It used to be the Ottoman mass melee blob with just 2 imams AoE healing. Now it's the dervish instead. These type of comps thrive off of you not bringing range to the engagement. Same logic of why you want to pick range Jean over melee Jean against a French Knight's opponent. When he peels back the injured, you can snipe. If you're melee, all you can do is run up and go, "Come back! I'm not done!" They never come back until they're ready. So Cat is going to be forced to engage in the Age longer. We do have the racks now being dropped. Appropriate reaction. My one worry for Killjoy is like the longer he plays the feudal, the worse his position actually gets, because he will have to resort to the sheep, right? What he could do, which would be really cool, is if Killjoy goes for the berries now, and then falls back to the sheep afterwards, right? Because then he has some longevity. At least mirrors the idea of the deer. It's still going to feel a little bit better for Cat with the Pro Scouts, but overall, it will give Killjoy a much longer runway for Feudal Age. Bring more of the goodies home. I mean, these are completely unharassed. This is one of the problems with Killjoy's comp. Archers can at least block the center, but they can't play flanks. So it will be a starvation of resources for Cat here. And that's actually substantial, right? That's going to be 15 deer he can't reach. Actually, more, 17 deer. Do you have any more live matches after this? Potentially. We'll have to see how the day goes. Sometimes people a little bit slow to get their scheduling done. Killjoy getting the Steel Arrow ready. And it's kind of funny. There's not many people that like playing Master Archer Ayyubids Feudal Age, right? Killjoy is surprisingly consistently that guy. Like, he really set the boundary mark for me when I watched him blob, I think it was 50 archers as Ayyubids on Cliffside. And that is indeed a wall below. Just trying to guarantee that the Warrior Scouts can't go raiding afterwards. Twitch is so bugged, you're sub, but in chat, you're not. Isn't it you have to select the accolade that shows, because you've got Prime showing. You can only have, I think you can have more than one, but by default, it's only one accolade that shows. You need to show those wings, man. Am I the only one that wants a Warhammer RTS again? We had Dawn of War, but it's been a while. I kind of, like, after playing a lot of Total War Warhammer, I'm starting to think about it. I kind of want to see a fantasy RTS of Warhammer. A new one. Like, you know what? I actually want Games Workshop to just give Microsoft a license and just do the Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds effect, where it's basically Age of Empires with a skin. I would play the crap out of that. Freaking attack bears? Giant blood demons? Like, come on. Blood letters everywhere. You'd be able to have giant little Groms shooting their cannons. Dwarves resolving grudges. Oh, come on. God, a lot of javelins here. Kind of wacky, actually. Like, Killjoy, what's happening? Yeah, he chose the tech up. This is so greedy. if Cat realizes what's happening here, he can completely starve gold. He needs to be fast, though. The problem he might have is Killjoy does have food to now just bolster Horseman. And I think Cat brought too many javelins, not enough Donzos. This diver's going to come in. We'll better snipe 1 or 2. He's going to force the reaction. I think dove a little bit too far there. The Donzo count isn't good like we talked about, right? So like now, if Killjoy chases, mops out the Donzos, he can finish off the jabs and get Castle. I think Cat misplayed the comp here. He definitely misplayed it. This could be all javelins dead. Marches in, has the undermesh. There is no steeled arrow here, so it takes a long time to kill even one pony. You reach out to Zamboni to run these boys through, but instead you're the ones getting ran down. I'm Cat stuck. Like, this actually might just be game. Killjoy's about to be an entire age ahead. Cat is stuck in the feudal age with nothing to really defend him. A complete misread there, man. I think if Cat had just scaled more Donzos, there was a dive point there worthwhile. Instead, Cat, when he saw what we was up against, he needed to just back away and play for tech. So instead, Advanced Wing now completing, and Cat about to receive the bad news that he will not make it beyond the quarterfinals, because this is scare point. Camel Lancers getting queued up. And the Donzo count is non-existent. He knows he needs Donzos. Killjoy, if he's really smart about this, he'll drop a Rax follow-up. Just add in a few Gulums, because the Gulums will be the break point for this. This is just going to reset. Wants to keep a few of them alive to deal with Donzos. But Grim Affair now, like, you know, even if Cat doesn't go up against Gulums here, he still needs to find substantial resources for attack. He's only now adding in ranches. He didn't have any cows in here. Farimba doesn't look great here because you're against Lancers. We talked about, actually, like, there's some matchups where Farimba will just feel sucky. This can be one of them. In theory, Mansa Musafadi good, but in practice, the timing isn't going to be there. Damn. High hopes for Cap. I mean, he started off so strong on King of the Hill. Killjoy just really finding his stride here. Deeper and deeper in. You know he's going to be looking for that kill point. Like, we've got what? We should have double stables. This one... Okay, there we go. I was about to say, one stable of 4 Camel Lancers is sinful. We have got double stables. Archers going in for the trade again. They're just looking for the Donzos. They want to trade their life out. The Lancer's already here. And that looks pretty condemning. So that means that Killjoy will be looking at a matchup with either Dumu, Starflight, Miyamika, or Lash. Yeah, tough situation here, man. I think... Now, with those matchups, Killjoy... I kind of want to see the Dumu one the most, just I think Killjoy and Dumu have very intriguing playstyles against each other. I want to be intriguing, like, do we know of, is like Miyamika and Killjoy, because that would be similar to this series of the aggressive line. But one thing's for sure, that semi-finals will include a Killjoy. One of his best performances so far, looking like a week where he could go all the way. Kitty Cat will be going back to the drawing board because this has fallen flat. Malians on board line. I tell you guys, I hate to see it. Not the usual way it plays out, admittedly. Always just a weird and polarizing civ on this particular map. Dimu was farming Killjoy. It's interesting as Dimu has like a more defensively formatted style and Killjoy is very aggressive. And that's an issue because if a player is very good at defending, it's difficult to overcome that, right? Like, defenders have an advantage in a game like AoE4. It's just undeniable. Most RTSs have that case. I think that's the tricky part we talked about with Killjoy, right? It's like evolving beyond just being an aggressive party. Same with Cat, actually. Finding a way of really playing that macro game to a true advantage. Not that they can't. It's just they seem way too comfortable with the latter, or with the former, rather. Being aggressive. Well, congrats, Cat. You now have a total of 1 Warrior Scout. I'd love to plan out the way that you get back into this game as Cat, but I have this funny feeling that I don't have long enough left in the recording to do that. Like, this game should be over in probably 2 minutes. And Cat's recovery arc feels like it's 10 minutes long. Difference between a dry Arabia and Borderlands, apart from the 2 larger woods, all the smaller woods around you. Dry Arabia is a lot more defensively oriented than Borderland. Borderland forces you to come out a lot quicker. The deer spread is also more predictable. And Sacred Site win conditions are more feasible. Gold is also more funneled. Like, Borderland is... Weirdly enough, I'd say Borderland is closer to Prairie than Dry Arabia. It kind of just feels like a better Prairie, because it's like more playable for a majority of civs than Prairie is. Prairie is like an extreme starvation version of this. Like another way to think of it is kind of like, I think it's like Himiyama and Prairie combined, I said. GG comes out though, so another week where Kitty Cat has to fall short of the mark here. Kiljadi with a 2-1 victory. What do you guys think? Ayyubid versus Malians. Is this the Malian way? Could this have worked? Did Cat just maybe need to get his comp a little bit more balanced for that dive? Or was this always going the way of the Finn? Let me know in the comments. I'll catch you all in the next chapter.